Some great feedback coming in here on the gun conversation. Please keep it coming. Also, earlier today, Lutheran Social Services had their quarterly meeting to discuss how many more refugees are coming to the great state of North Dakota in 2016. Valley News Team immigration and relocation reporter Bradford Eric has the story.
About a dozen people each from Grand Forks and Bismarck joined the 40 or so at the Fargo Lutheran Social Services office for their quarterly meeting.
And really the goal is to try to invite organizations and individuals who work with refugees and similar immigrant populations in our communities around the state.
LSS CEO Jessica Thomason says the meeting was pretty typical. Representatives from Fargo PD, West Fargo Schools, the State Department of Human Services and Public Instruction, as well as community outreach organizations were present.
With the total for North Dakota has been shared with you for 445.
The U.S. State Department last month sent LSS their approved placement numbers for fiscal year 2016. 445 individuals with 13 minors, for a total of 458 people. Breaking that down, 50 people will be resettled in Bismarck, 95 in Grand Forks, leaving 300 people for the Fargo-West Fargo area.
I think any time that we don't necessarily have the personal experience or the information, something can be frightening to us.
Shell says she's been doing the work of helping refugees for decades now, and a lot of the current fear is because many of us have no experience interacting with refugees.
They're looking for them going to communities where there's more of a population base.
The topic of Syrian refugees coming to North Dakota came up during the meeting, and LSS officials say they have not gotten word of any Syrian refugees coming to North Dakota, and they don't anticipate any in the near future.
Our program has really seen more of our concentration of countries of origin from Somalia and Iraq and Congo and Bhutan in particular, and so we expect to continue that pattern going forward.
LSS says the people settled in the Fargo-West Fargo area are mostly those with family ties or cultural ties to populations already here. Because there's no large Syrian population base in the state, they don't expect many Syrian refugees. Bradford Eric, Valley News Live.
458 more refugees coming in 2016. Would love to know your thoughts on this on our Facebook page. It has been going berserk. Well, people are not happy about more refugees coming to the great state of North Dakota. I want to remind you, as far as per capita, we are #1 in the nation in how many refugees we accept. We had Cass County Commissioner on the other night, Mr. Peterson. He said, look, Chris, we don't have a problem with accepting refugees in Cass County. We don't really know all the information yet. We don't have an issue with it at this point. The challenge, he said, is we're taking a very much a disproportionate amount here in Cass County, as you just saw by those numbers, versus Bismarck and or Grand Forks. We're getting 300 out of those 458. I don't think that we've got well over half the population in Cass County. Maybe we do, but I don't think the numbers simply add up. The other thing a lot of people are talking about is, hey, you know what? The refugee vetting process, it shouldn't be a challenge. People shouldn't be concerned about that. Let me remind you, obviously, what happened in San Bernardino. I know that was a spousal visa, but she actually lied on the visa situation. Her background clearly shows that she had ties to terrorist organizations, radical Islamist background with her family, where she was studying in Pakistan, yet she lied about an address, and that cleared the supposedly very thorough vetting process, even with the visas. Then you talk about the refugee program, everyone again says, hey, this is an extremely thorough vetting process. We shouldn't be worried about anyone from ISIS or terrorists coming to our land via that situation. Representative McCall, he's the chair on the Homeland Security Committee for the U.S. House. He said that people right now in the intelligence arena have said to him, look, there have been people of ISIS that have been starting to test out, feel out the refugee program to infiltrate it and obviously bring terrorists right here at home. One other key thing I will note about what Jessica Thomason just said there, she mentioned some of the major countries that we receive refugees from, Syria not being one of those, but Somalia is one of those. In case you missed this today, it was announced in Minnesota now, the 10th Minnesota man has been arrested and is accused of trying to help others leave the country to go join ISIS. You can see the 20-year-old man here. This guy actually worked in a company's security. But my point is clear. You're talking about 10 out of the state of Minnesota within that Somali community that's down in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area. That is a hotbed of what's going on there. I'm not saying it's going to happen here. Clearly, it hasn't happened here in our community. But that Somali community is under a focused light right now with the FBI and other higher intelligence. The big question is to you, should we continue to have open arms here in the great state of North Dakota, or should we be more thorough about who we are letting into our state? Would love to know your thoughts. Again, please text us. It's very easy to join our conversation. There's multiple ways you can do that, but tonight text will be the easiest to get some of your feedback on the show. When we come back, earlier in the week, I sat down with a gentleman from Enbridge about the Sandpiper Pipeline project that continues to get held up in the Minnesota courts. He'll explain right after this.